Welcome to my channel Starwire Daily. Please share and subscribe and press the bell icon for new updates. You're 21 years old, standing on a movie set for the first time, cameras rolling, hundreds of crew members watching your every move. The weight of expectations crushing down on your shoulders. But here's the twist. Everyone's not just watching Cooper Hoffman the actor. They're watching Cooper Hoffman, son of Philip Seymour Hoffman, one of the most revered actors of our generation. And the one person whose voice he desperately needs to hear, the one person who could calm his nerves with just a few words, isn't there anymore. Welcome back to Starwire Daily, where we dive deep into the stories that matter in Hollywood. I'm your host, and today we're exploring something raw, something real, something that'll hit you right in the feels. Because Cooper Hoffman's journey isn't just another Nepo baby narrative. It's a story about grief, legacy, and finding your own voice when the world expects you to sound exactly like someone else. Let's rewind to February 2nd, 2014. The entertainment world stopped breathing for a moment. Philip Seymour Hoffman, the man who could disappear into any character, who made us believe in the twisted genius of Truman Capote, who broke our hearts as the vulnerable Scotty in Magnolia, was gone. Found in his Manhattan apartment at just 46 years old, leaving behind not just an incredible body of work, but 3 young children, including his son Cooper, who was barely 11 at the time. Now, fast forward 9 years. Cooper Hoffman, now in his early 20s, is making his own mark in Hollywood. But here's where it gets interesting and heartbreaking. In recent interviews, Cooper has opened up about the profound loneliness that comes with stepping into his father's world without his father's guidance. I wish I could still hear his advice, Cooper recently confided during a candid conversation about his acting journey. And those words, they carry the weight of 1,000 untold stories. You see, when Cooper was cast in Paul Thomas Anderson's Licorice Pizza, his very first film role, mind you, he wasn't just dealing with typical first-time actor jitters. He was carrying the invisible burden of being Philip Seymour Hoffman's son in an industry that never forgets a name, never stops comparing, never lets you just be yourself. But let's talk about what Philip was really like as a father, because this isn't just about the legendary actor. This is about a dad who coached Little League, who made pancakes on Sunday mornings, who probably worried about homework and bedtimes just like any other parent. According to those closest to the family, Philip was incredibly protective of his children's privacy. He kept them away from red carpets, away from the spotlight, away from the very world that Cooper now finds himself navigating alone. Mimi O'Donnell, Cooper's mother and Philip's longtime partner, has spoken about how Philip wanted his children to have normal childhoods. He'd drop Cooper off at school in the morning, pick him up in the afternoon, attend parent-teacher conferences. The man who could transform into anyone on screen was just dad at home. And now Cooper is discovering that acting, the very thing that made his father a household name, is also the thing that makes him feel closest to Philip's memory. But it's complicated, isn't it? Because every time Cooper steps in front of a camera, he's simultaneously honoring his father's legacy and trying to escape its shadow. Paul Thomas Anderson, who directed Cooper in Licorice Pizza, has known the Hoffman family for years. He directed Philip in 3 films, Hard 8, Punch Drunk Love, and The Master. When Anderson cast Cooper, it wasn't nepotism, it was recognition. He saw something in Cooper that reminded him not of Philip's acting ability, but of Philip's authenticity, his genuine nature, his ability to be completely present in a moment. Cooper has this natural ease in front of the camera, Anderson has said. But more than that, he has his father's heart. And that heart, according to Cooper, still aches for conversations that can never happen. Let's get real for a moment. Cooper has admitted that there are nights when he lies awake, wondering what his father would think of his performance choices. Would Philip approve of the roles he's taking? Would he have advice about dealing with difficult directors or handling the pressure of being in the public eye? These are the questions that haunt Cooper, the conversations he'll never get to have. But here's what's beautiful and tragic at the same time. Cooper is finding his own way to connect with his father's memory through acting. He's discovered that when he's fully immersed in a character, when he's completely present in a scene, he feels something, a presence, a guidance, maybe even a whisper of Philip's wisdom flowing through him. The film industry can be brutal, especially for young actors trying to prove themselves. But it's particularly challenging when your last name carries the weight of Oscar wins, critical acclaim, and legendary performances. Every casting director, every critic, every audience member comes with preconceptions. They're not just watching Cooper Hoffman. They're watching Philip Seymour Hoffman's son, and they're waiting to see if lightning can strike twice in the same family. Cooper has talked about the pressure, about the constant comparisons, about people expecting him to have inherited some sort of acting gene that would automatically make him brilliant. But talent doesn't work that way, does it? Acting is craft, it's work, it's thousands of small choices and years of learning and growing and failing and getting back up again. What's remarkable about Cooper's journey is his honesty about the process. He's not pretending that being Philip Seymour Hoffman's son makes acting easier. In many ways, it makes it harder. He's not trading on his father's name. He's trying to honor it while creating his own identity. In Licorice Pizza, Cooper played Gary Valentine, a charming, ambitious teenager with dreams bigger than his San Fernando Valley neighborhood. The role required him to be confident, smooth-talking, almost cocky. But behind the camera, Cooper was dealing with grief, with pressure, with the weight of stepping into the world that took his father from him. And yet, there's something beautiful happening here. Cooper is discovering that acting isn't just about pretending to be someone else. It's about finding truth in fictional moments, about connecting with other human beings through storytelling. These are lessons his father understood deeply, and somehow, through the work itself, Cooper is finding his way to that same understanding. The entertainment industry loves to talk about nepotism, about privilege, about kids who get opportunities because of their parents' success. But Cooper's story is different. Yes, his last name might have opened doors, but grief doesn't give you acting ability. Loss doesn't teach you how to memorize lines, or hit your marks, or find the emotional truth of a scene. That's all Cooper, working through his pain, channeling his longing into his art. Recently, Cooper revealed something that made my heart stop. He said that sometimes, when he's preparing for a role, he'll read scenes out loud, imagining what his father might say about his choices. He's created these imaginary conversations, these phantom coaching sessions where Philip's wisdom lives on through Cooper's memories and intuition. I can almost hear him telling me to trust my instincts, Cooper shared. He always believed that the best acting came from truth, from being genuinely present with another person. I try to carry that with me. But let's talk about what this really means. Cooper isn't just missing his father's professional guidance. He's missing his dad. He's missing the person who would have been proud of his first movie, who would have given him a hug after a difficult day on set, who would have reminded him that he's enough exactly as he is. The tragedy of Philip Seymour Hoffman's death wasn't just the loss of one of our greatest actors. It was the loss of a father, a partner, a friend. And Cooper is living with that loss every single day, while simultaneously trying to build a career in the very industry that cost him his dad. But here's what's incredible about Cooper's story. He's choosing to see his father's influence as a gift rather than a burden. He's not running from the comparison. He's embracing the parts of his father's approach to acting that resonate with him while finding his own voice, his own style, his own truth. Philip Seymour Hoffman was known for his preparation, his research, his complete immersion into every character he played. Cooper is learning that same dedication, but he's applying it in his own way. Where Philip might have spent months researching a character's background, Cooper focuses more on the emotional truth of a moment. Where Philip was known for his intensity, Cooper brings a lighter touch, a natural charm that's entirely his own. The most beautiful part of Cooper's journey might be how he's honoring his father's memory, not by trying to be him, but by being authentically himself. He's learning that the best way to carry on Philip's legacy isn't to replicate his performances, but to approach the craft with the same honesty, the same dedication, the same respect for the art of storytelling. And maybe, in some cosmic way, Philip's guidance is still there. Maybe it's in the way Cooper approaches a scene, in his instinct for truth, in his natural ability to connect with other actors. Maybe death doesn't end a father's influence on his son. Maybe it just changes the way that influence is felt and expressed. Cooper Hoffman is 21 years old, standing at the beginning of what could be an incredible career. He's dealing with grief, with pressure, with the weight of expectations, and the shadow of a legend. But he's also discovering his own voice, his own truth, his own way of moving through the world. He may not be able to hear his father's voice anymore, but Philip Seymour Hoffman's love, his wisdom, his approach to life and art lives on in Cooper. Not as a burden, but as a foundation. Not as a limitation, but as a launching pad. And maybe that's the most beautiful tribute of all. A son who doesn't try to be his father, but who carries the best of his father's spirit into his own unique journey. Cooper Hoffman isn't trying to be the next Philip Seymour Hoffman. He's trying to be the first Cooper Hoffman. And from everything we've seen so far, that's going to be something pretty special to witness. What do you think about Cooper's journey? Have you seen Licorice Pizza? How do you think he's handling the pressure of following in his father's footsteps? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I love hearing your perspectives on these deeper Hollywood stories. And if this kind of behind-the-scenes emotional storytelling is what you're here for, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more Star Wire Daily content. We've got some incredible stories coming up that you definitely won't want to miss. Until next time, keep it glamorous, keep it real, and remember, sometimes the most powerful performances happen when we're not performing at all.